March 26th shifts the focus from understanding into feeling. Over the past couple of days, you may have gained clarity around something that felt intense. You may have understood a reaction, a situation, or a deeper pattern that was not immediately obvious before. That process allowed you to step back and observe. Today brings you closer again. The moon moves into Scorpio, and this creates a different kind of experience. Instead of observing depth, you may begin to feel it more directly. Emotions may become more noticeable, more present, and more connected to what truly matters beneath the surface. This is not the same intensity as before. Earlier, intensity may have felt overwhelming or unclear. Now, it may feel more focused. You are not just reacting, you are aware of what you are feeling and why it matters. Scorpio energy brings depth to emotion. It draws attention to what is meaningful, what is hidden, and what carries emotional significance. You may notice that your focus shifts towards situations that feel important, even if they are not immediately visible on the surface. This can create a sense of emotional concentration. You may feel less interested in distractions or surface-level interaction. Instead, you may be drawn toward understanding what is real, what is genuine, and what carries depth in your life. At the same time, this energy can increase sensitivity. You may feel things more strongly, even if you do not express them outwardly. Reactions may happen internally first, creating a deeper awareness of your emotional landscape. This is where awareness becomes important, because you are now feeling something you already understand, and that combination can be powerful. You may also notice a stronger connection to intuition. Scorpio energy often enhances perception beyond logic. You may sense things that are not directly expressed. You may feel when something is meaningful, even if it is not obvious. The key dynamic of today is emotional awareness, not just feeling, but feeling with understanding. Because when emotion and awareness come together, depth becomes something you can work with, not something that controls you. To understand the deeper psychology of March 26th, we need to explore what happens when emotion moves into depth with awareness already present. The moon represents your emotional body. It reflects how you feel, how you respond instinctively, and how you process experience on a more immediate internal level. Unlike Mercury, which thinks, or the sun, which illuminates, the moon feels first and interprets later. When the moon moves into Scorpio, that feeling becomes more concentrated. Scorpio does not experience emotion lightly. It moves toward what is meaningful, what is hidden, and what carries psychological weight. It is not interested in surface-level reactions. It pulls awareness toward deeper emotional currents that often exist beneath everyday experience. This creates intensity, but not always in an obvious way. Scorpio energy is often internal. You may not express everything you feel outwardly, but internally, emotions may feel stronger, more focused, and more connected to something deeper. What makes today different from other Moon Scorpio moments is the context. You are not entering this emotional depth without preparation. Over the past few days, you have already gained insight into certain patterns, reactions, and situations. You have understood something. Now you are feeling it again. But this time, you are aware of it. This changes the psychological experience. Instead of being overwhelmed by emotion, you may begin to observe it as it happens. You may notice what triggers a reaction, what it connects to, and what it reveals about your deeper needs or attachments. This is where emotional awareness becomes transformative. Scorpio is often associated with themes of control, attachment, and vulnerability. When emotions run deep, there is often a desire to hold on to something, to protect something, or to understand something fully. You may notice where you feel strongly attached to an outcome, a person, or a situation.
You may also notice where vulnerability exists, not necessarily in a way that feels exposed, but in a way that reveals what matters most to you. Scorpio energy tends to highlight what you care about at a deeper level, because that is where emotional intensity originates. Another important psychological aspect of this energy is the awareness of emotional truth. Surface reactions may not feel sufficient today. You may feel the need to understand what is really going on beneath what is being expressed. This can apply to your own feelings as well as the behavior of others. At times, this can create a sense of internal pressure, not because something is wrong, but because depth requires attention. When something feels meaningful, it naturally draws your focus. The key is not to resist this, but also not to become consumed by it. Scorpio energy can deepen awareness, but it can also intensify perception. It is important to distinguish between what is consistently true and what is amplified by emotional focus. The deeper lesson of this transit is conscious emotional experience, not avoiding what you feel, not reacting without awareness, but allowing yourself to feel something fully while understanding it at the same time. Because when emotion is understood, it becomes insight, and when insight connects with emotion, it becomes transformation.
On a practical level, March 26th may feel like a day where your inner world becomes louder than your outer environment. You might go through normal routines, conversations, and tasks, but your attention may keep returning inward. Something you feel may hold your focus longer than usual. A reaction may linger, not because it is overwhelming, but because it feels important to understand. This is how Scorpio moon energy often shows up. You may notice that your responses are more internalized. Instead of reacting immediately, you may pause. You may observe what you feel before expressing it. This can create a sense of emotional depth where you are aware of your reactions, but not necessarily driven by them. Another pattern that may appear today is selective focus. You may feel less interested in surface-level interactions or distractions. Conversations that feel shallow may not hold your attention. Instead, you may be drawn toward situations that feel meaningful, real, or emotionally significant. This can change how you engage with others. You may listen more carefully. You may notice what is not being said as much as what is spoken. You may feel a stronger awareness of emotional tone, even if it is subtle. At the same time, your own communication may become more measured. You may choose your words carefully, or you may decide not to express something until you understand it more fully. This is not withdrawal, it is refinement. You may also notice recurring thoughts connected to emotion. Something that affected you recently may return to your attention, but in a different way. Instead of trying to solve it, you may find yourself exploring what it means to you. This is where emotional processing happens. Another noticeable pattern is sensitivity to trust and authenticity. You may feel more aware of what feels genuine and what does not. Situations or people that feel aligned may stand out more clearly, while those that feel uncertain may create a subtle sense of distance. This awareness can guide your interactions. At the same time, it is important to avoid overinterpretation. Scorpio energy can deepen perception, but it can also intensify it. Not every feeling needs to be analyzed fully. Some experiences simply need to be felt and allowed to pass. You may also feel a stronger need for privacy. You may prefer to process certain thoughts or emotions internally before sharing them. This can be helpful, as it allows clarity to develop before expression. The key approach today is presence with emotion. Notice what you feel. Notice what holds your attention. Notice what feels meaningful, and allow yourself to experience it without needing to resolve it immediately.
Because today is not about quick answers. It is about understanding through feeling.
Now bring this emotional depth into your own experience, sign by sign. Today is not about changing direction. It is about feeling what your current path actually means to you, beyond logic, beyond decisions, beyond explanation. If you're an Aries, something you recently decided may now feel more emotionally real. The direction still stands, but now you feel what it carries. Growth for you lies in not rushing past that feeling. Let it show you what truly matters behind your actions. If you're a Taurus, your sense of attachment may deepen today. You may notice what you're holding on to emotionally and why. Growth comes from recognizing whether that attachment is rooted in stability or fear of change. If you're a Gemini, conversations or thoughts may carry emotional weight beneath them. You may begin to feel the impact of something you understood intellectually before. Growth lies in allowing emotion to inform your understanding, not complicate it. If you're a Cancer, this energy may feel familiar but stronger. You may feel more connected to your emotional patterns and reactions. Growth comes from observing those patterns without becoming defined by them. If you're a Leo, social or personal dynamics may feel more meaningful than usual. You may sense deeper layers within your environment. Growth lies in recognizing where your energy is truly valued and where it is not. If you're a Virgo, your focus may turn inward toward what your routines or responsibilities mean to you emotionally. Something that felt practical may now feel personal. Growth comes from aligning your actions with what feels meaningful, not just necessary.
If you're a Libra, relationships may bring deeper emotional awareness. You may feel more connected to what a connection represents, not just how it appears. Growth lies in acknowledging that depth without trying to balance it immediately. If you're a Scorpio, this energy resonates strongly with you. You may feel more aware of your emotional landscape and what it reveals. Growth comes from using that awareness with intention rather than intensity alone. If you're a Sagittarius, your direction may feel more emotionally significant. A path you chose may now reveal what it means to you personally. Growth lies in allowing that meaning to guide your commitment. If you're a Capricorn, your sense of control may soften into awareness. You may recognize that not everything needs to be managed immediately. Growth comes from allowing space for emotional understanding within structure. If you're an Aquarius, your perspective may deepen in a way that connects thought with feeling. Something you understood mentally may now feel real. Growth lies in integrating those two levels of awareness. And if you're a Pisces, your emotional and intuitive awareness may become stronger. You may feel more connected to what matters beneath the surface. Growth comes from trusting that connection without losing your sense of clarity.
As we close March 26th, notice the difference between understanding something and truly feeling it. Over the past few days, you may have gained clarity. You may have made decisions, understood patterns, and recognized what direction feels right. That process brought mental alignment. It reduced confusion and created a sense of movement. But today brought you closer to something deeper. Not to change your direction, but to show you what that direction actually means to you. You may have felt moments where something became more real emotionally. A decision may have carried more weight than before. A situation may have felt more personal. A thought may have turned into a feeling that stayed with you. This is not a step backward, it is a step inward. Because clarity alone does not create transformation. It is when clarity connects with emotion that something begins to matter in a lasting way. You may have noticed that certain feelings did not ask to be solved today. They asked to be experienced, not rushed, not explained, just recognized. And that recognition is important. Because when you allow yourself to feel something fully, without immediately trying to change it, you begin to understand it in a different way. Not just as a thought, but as something that is part of you. Tonight, you might reflect on something simple. What did I feel more deeply today? What emotion revealed what truly matters to me? And what does that feeling tell me about the path I am on? These are not questions for immediate answers. They are invitations to notice. Because what you feel is not separate from your direction. It is part of it. And when you allow both to exist together, your next steps begin to carry not just clarity, but meaning.